Hello guys, and welcome to another video, and right now I'm playing Paper Mario 64 on Nintendo Switch Online, and if you saw my previous video about this game on Switch Online, you probably know where this is going, because basically, this game has a lot of bugs in the Nintendo Switch version, since the emulator really isn't very good, because it's been having a lot of problems with other games, and it especially has a lot of problems in Paper Mario, since Paper Mario is prone to crashing. So basically, this tree right here in Shiver City, when you hit it, the game crashes. I'm not sure if it's like that in everyone's game, but basically, whenever I hit it, or start to hit it, it crashes, because I didn't even fully hit it there. So let's discuss. Okay, to explain this issue. So, basically, what is happening here is that whenever you hit a tree in Paper Mario, it has a list of models that should shake when you hit it, and this tree was bugged. So basically, this had a model list of length 2, so it's actually one model there, so garbage data is red, and it ends up reading an address that's not valid on Nintendo 64 and everything. And on other versions of the game, like the original Nintendo 64 version or on Wii or Wii U Virtual Console, it actually reads it as 00, which prevents it from crashing. So on Nintendo Switch Online, it's possibly reading the invalid address or reading a value that's something other than 00, and for this information, I'll give credit to Mr. Cheese and Rain on Twitter and Reddit, and sorry if I've butchered any of the information here. Just go down in the description if you want to read more, and just overall, I know Paper Mario is definitely prone to crashing, and you'll see that with the Strider 7X videos and everything, and like, I feel like Nintendo Switch Online definitely has a lot more problems with Paper Mario than usual, and it seems like it might have to do with the subpar emulation that's on Nintendo Switch Online and everything, because, like I said, these crashes aren't happening on any other version of Paper Mario. I'm not sure if it would happen on, like, a bad emulator of Paper Mario, or for the Nintendo 64 playing Paper Mario, but yeah. There's been other problems too, other than this. So, one of the other notable problems, other than the tree, is people dying to bosses and their game being crashed, and the save data is being corrupted. And the save data being corrupted also happened with this too, the first time I actually explored it, and I know this really isn't a problem that you would run into while just playing the game casually, but it still is, like, an issue in the game, so it still has to be addressed, since it does kind of uncover some of Nintendo's problems with the emulation on Nintendo Switch Online. But this has also been happening with the bosses, like I said in the previous video and earlier in this video too, which basically, like, I don't know how it's, like, corrupting people's save data. If you have any idea why that is happening, feel free to leave a comment and let me know. I'm pretty curious about why this is happening. Like, the first time I hit the tree, it actually sent me back to, I think, like, before I entered Chapter 7. I forgot where it was, but it was a couple saves before where I was, and I was definitely, like, a level down, because I leveled up before then and saved after it. So it was weird, and some people are reporting that they're getting sent back to Chapter 3, I think the beginning of Chapter 3, after they died to some bosses. Like, some notable bosses that I'm seeing is Anti-Guy, General Guy, Lava Piranha, and I'm not sure if there's any others. I know those are generally the 3 that I hear. So, overall, there's definitely some problems with Paper Mario, and since Paper Mario is prone to crashing, like, I feel like that might have more problems, because I think Paper Mario, I heard that it's a pretty hard game to emulate, so it definitely makes sense why there'd be a lot of problems on the subpar Nintendo 64 emulation. And now we'll actually get into the discussion of Nintendo's service overall and charging $50 for this. This is definitely unacceptable. And, like, I mean, changing it would be good. I mean, that would be a nice temporary fix for the game. But they definitely have to do something about the service overall. I mean, people aren't going to continue to pay for this service when a lot of these problems are definitely apparent. And like I said, with people dying to the bosses and getting their save data deleted, or corrupted, I guess, that's definitely going to be notable for, like, people casually playing through this game and not really looking at the issues of Nintendo Switch Online, like, on the internet and everything. So that's definitely going to cause some people from not buying this service. So I feel like that's definitely something that Nintendo has to do about this. Like, I don't know how they can continue to get away with this subpar emulation for such a high price. Like, it's really weird, and I don't know why they didn't take the time and effort to actually test these games, because, like, some of these issues, like the games crashing when people die to bosses, I feel like that would definitely be fixed if someone was actually playtesting the game. Like, it really seems like they're not actually beta testing these and actually getting it through. Like, it's really weird. Like, it seems like they're just putting these games on without much consideration about, like, bugs and different things. Like, obviously, they have fixed some bugs in Paper Mario 64 and everything that, like, I do think there's a lot of improvements to the Wii U Virtual Console, which is weird, because, like, overall, those ones were better, but it's weird that they didn't fix a lot of these other major problems that a lot of people are dealing with. Like, one notable example of a problem that was actually fixed from, like, the other Virtual Console versions was, I think there was, like, a problem with Monstar's particle effects, or, like, the visual effects overall. I wouldn't say particle effects, but more, like, visual overall. On Wii U, I think it was bugged, but it was actually fixed in the Switch version. And since they actually fixed it in the Switch version, I don't know how they didn't fix any of these other problems. Like, I mean, the tree could be an oversight. Like, I mean, that kind of makes sense, but that is, like, a notable example of how the emulation is kind of shoddy on the Nintendo Switch. But, like, the examples with the bosses and everything, and people dying to the bosses and the game crashing, I don't know how they couldn't have fixed that. Like, that definitely seems like something they need to fix soon, since it's a really big problem. And just overall, with the service, I feel like it was probably rushed. Like, it's weird to think about, because it's almost 5 years since the Switch launched, and we're finally getting Nintendo 64 games, but they feel rushed. Now, I don't know how they couldn't have done this for a longer time. Like, they couldn't have actually tested these games more, and I don't know why they didn't do it until now, and I don't know why they didn't do it, like, before a certain date, because I feel like it was rushed. I'm not sure if this was a last-minute decision or not, because I'm not sure if Nintendo had plans to expand it beyond the NES and SNES library. Like, it really seems like something they just thrown in and they put the expansion pack together. Like, it really seems like something Nintendo was just trying to put out, like, to make more money from Nintendo Switch Online, because there was already, like, over 30 million subscribers for Nintendo Switch Online, so they just wanted to get something out for that, and this definitely needed more time. They really should have thought about Nintendo 64 games before. They definitely should have released them in a better way, because you have to buy a subscription service, and you only have these games for a limited amount of time. And if they did something like the Virtual Console, people could actually download the games and keep them. And that was a much better model, and I don't know why Nintendo kind of gave up on that. Like, I mean, Nintendo could still do the online service and everything. They could, like, maybe give out free retro games. Like, I don't know why they had to lock the retro content in as an incentive to buy the online service, because that means if people wanted to buy the online, like play the retro games, and they didn't even care about the online, they just had to buy Nintendo Switch Online. And it's truly a scummy move, especially when Nintendo is shutting down like all of these ROM sites and everything, and the prices for a lot of retro games are skyrocketing. So it's definitely a scummy move by them that they had to lock it behind a subscription service rather than actually having downloads and everything, because you truly don't own the games if they're a part of a subscription service. And even though it's technically not the cloud, because you do have the games downloaded onto your system, you don't play them forever. So it's like a weird service that basically just locks the games behind like a service and everything. It's not even streaming. It's just like you're basically paying to unlock these games. And just overall, it's just a really, really weird issue with this. Like, I definitely feel like Nintendo needs to overhaul their entire service. It's very unlikely, because I know they have something going here, like, and I mean, it's not good, but Nintendo's kind of moving along with this expansion pack and everything. But basically, if people don't buy this expansion pack, Nintendo will see that it's not very successful, and that's not really a viable way for people to play these retro games, not really the best way of playing them, because there's issues with emulation, it's expensive, and just overall, it's better to just emulate the games on like a PC or just buy the games outright. So, I definitely hope that Nintendo will see the poor sales of the expansion pack. Hopefully it will sell poorly, because I don't know how this will sell due to like all of the problems it has and the outrageous price. So hopefully Nintendo will see that, and hopefully they'll change and actually release the games like individually, like with the virtual console and everything, or do like continue with the apps and everything, and maybe still do the services and everything like they have been doing, but just allow people to download the games and actually fix their emulation and improve the value of the services by adding like more things to them, or decreasing the price. There's a lot of things they can do, but it seems like right now they're just not doing much. Like, I mean, the only thing they're doing is just adding more games, which definitely isn't like good, because these games will still have emulation issues, like, due to them adding these games, and it's still not worth the price because you don't keep them and everything. It's just overall, there's really not much to the expansion pack, even though you're paying a lot for it. So, definitely skip out on the expansion pack, like I said before multiple times. It's not worth it. And, yeah, so anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.